Good morning, Sunny Page Mabrey. Welcome on VH Berries.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Cedar is not only a dog, it is a movement.
It's not only my dog, it's a movement, you say?
Absolutely, because this one can also be a plant that is qualified by one term, aromatic. And I also learned that you two also made a song from that name.
Okay, and you know what? I might have put her name in a song, and if you have uncovered that information, then you are more correct than I. I can't think of the song right now, but yeah, I actually found that it's a tree, beautiful tree and type of wood. And I was struggling, Ethan and I were struggling to find her a name because she was just so specific, her personality and her look and everything. And I said a prayer, and I was like, help me find a name. And I opened the Bible, and it was in Song of Solomon, and it was talking about the cedars of Lebanon. I was like, oh, that's it, for sure. Yeah, it just fit her.
And Sunny Mabrey, knowing the fact that this is now a tree, we can say that this is your little sapling for a happy life.
Yeah, sure. It definitely does seem like that because that's what having a pet is, right? It's like this little. It's just such a comfort to you whenever you need anything at all, whether you're happy or sad. It's known to lower your blood pressure. It actually physically makes you feel better to have a pet and to love on that pet. So you are correct, I'd say.
I also truly believe, Sunny Mabrey, that this relationship is reciprocal because, Sunny, you are giving the sun to the tree, so he has all the sunshine that he needs.
Yeah, wow! I never thought of it that way, and you, once again, are correct. The sun, and the tree, they go hand in hand. They need each other to live. But yeah, it's like it's a strange thing. I mean, everybody sees her and they're like, wow, she's none other than Cedar. You know how like a dog just comes into their name? And my sister named a dog Jimmy once, and I was like, that's not a dog's name. But then after like 3 days of knowing him, I was like, that's Jimmy. There's no doubt.
This is very inspiring because, as you just mentioned, a tree and the sun goes by pair, a little bit like your relationship between yourself and your creativity. And I would love to talk about the process behind it because I believe that it came from a sort of accident for you, like Newton with the apple that falls from the trees.
Yeah, I'd say that my creativity is, it's kind of a crucial part of life, isn't it? I need it to, I think I need it to survive. It's just part of me, and it's something to look forward to. I don't know what I would do if I felt like I had nothing left to create.
That's very true. And Sunny Mabrey, who teach you the most important stuff?
I think it's just gathering behaviors and ways of thinking from everybody that I've chosen to be close to me in my life and my immediate family, my entire family, actually. There are so many members of my family that are really funny and just good people at the same time, kind of a dry, sarcastic wit. They just get it. And it's been a gift just observing them. I mean, I have like a whole really long memo on my phone of things that my dad says all the time. He'll say something and I'll just write it down because I'm gonna want to repeat it one day. I'm gonna want to put it in a show or a video, or I'm gonna want to, say it into a microphone in front of a bunch of people because he's probably the funniest person I know. But I think besides that, I've just acquired people in my life. And I always choose the funniest person in the class to become friends with. And it wasn't just about being funny. It was also about having something different and, a depth and an intelligence and a wisdom. And it's kind of rare. But I've found some great people, and they've inspired me. I've just been a sponge for that.
And Sunny Page Mabrey, I can feel in your voice that you have an emotional feeling with your creations. When do you have the more emotion? Is it when, for example, you make a video for Bon Acre? Or is it, for example, when you see that you can make a difference in people's lives?
When I enjoy the video making process, if we're talking about the stuff I put on social media and some of the stuff that, I create that's like a short film or whatever, I enjoy so much the, coming up with the idea. And my brain is just nonstop every day. I could be in a different mode of that creativity. Like, am I in funny video mode, or am I in like horror movie mode, or am I in a combination of those two? And Ethan probably gets tired of it. My husband probably gets a little annoyed with me sometimes, but I do constantly pitch him ideas. I'm like, what about this? What about this? What would happen afterwards if it started like this, And he's really good at coming up with story ideas and stuff like that too. And he's a great comedian as well. So I'm kind of blessed there. I think the emotion, though, maybe that you heard, it comes in me talking about my family and how great they are. That's probably where that comes in. It is emotional to see your work finished. I mean, oh my gosh, that's the hardest part, is to actually bring something to completion that is a creative work. So that I'm experiencing more and more lately, and it's great.
You just mentioned that you had multiple possibles mode for the videos, and I would love to focus on the one I just mentioned called Bon Acre. What was that specific mode? Did you create a sort of hybrid one by picking multiples, for example, feelings?
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying. Bon Acre, yes, that is a band. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, that's a friend of mine has a band. He also plays with us. We play music as well, Ethan and I. But he plays drums with us. He plays guitar with them. It's a very good band called Bon Acre. They're kind of an indie rock vibe, and they had a video that they were thinking that they had a song coming out that they were thinking we could make the video for. And I was like, are you sure you want this? And they were like, yeah. I'm like, even if it's kind of silly. And because it was kind of a serious song. And they're like, no, I think it'd be good juxtaposition to the, to the seriousness of the lyrics in the song, to have something kind of fun. So we took that and ran with it. I took a character that I kind of made popular on Vine, and his name is El Creepo. And I turned him into an even more creepy person. He was a stalker, and he was stalking a character that was also played by me. But my husband was filming it and directing it and all of that stuff. So we wrote it together. It was fun.
You both wrote it together with Ethan Embry.
Yes.
Which directed this very special music video.
Yeah. Yeah, he directed it. We spent, a couple weeks getting it shot and edited, and I think the band said that they liked it. So I'm glad they did. I hope they did because we loved making it.
And Sonny Mabrey, just before you mentioned the fact that you were a sort of sponge because you were nourishing yourself from all of the rich experiences around you. But I would say that this is a hungry sponge because if I can take two of your favorite bands, for example, Highlight Suspect and Duran Duran.
Yes.
They both have titles and lyrics, including this word. For example, I am the hungry shark for Fast and Merciless in the song Lydia, or I am hungry like the wolf by Duran Duran.
Hey, you just found a correlation between Highly Suspect and Duran Duran. I don't even know if they know about this. I'm going to have to post this and tag them because, yeah, there's got to be a reason I'm drawn to both of them. And it's got to be they're talking about hungry like animals. They're so good. I love that, Duran Duran is obviously the 80s pop synth that is totally back in style now, and I'm loving that. So they're kind of they've never had any trouble drawing people to their concerts, I don't think. But Highly Suspect is some younger dudes that are playing pretty heavy guitar rock and roll, and I love that too because let's be honest, guitars will never die.
Absolutely, guitar will never die. And Sonny Mabrey, I can feel this relationship with music because you have a band, and if I can take the other side of your career, which is acting, you played in numerous video clips, so the one we just mentioned before, but also some called, for example, Nookie or Amazed.
Oh yeah. The Amazed video? Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely. I saw that you had made Amazed and also another one called Nookie.
Oh, man. Yeah. You're calling it way back. Way back. Let's see. What was the first one? Nookie was the first one by Limp Bizkit. And we all know that song. I was modeling in New York. And, they hired a few of us girls to, you guys probably remember the video as this massive amount of people at a concert and, following him down the streets of New York. It becomes this mob. But on the first day, it was just a few of us and all models. And we were all kind of just minding our own business on New York city streets. And Fred Durst walks down the street and we see him and we're like, oh, hey, I got to follow that guy for sure. And we all start strutting one by one behind him, just on the Durst train to wherever it is that he's going. And the next day, well, at the end of that day, he said, we're shooting more tomorrow if you guys want to come back. And I was like, this is Fred Durst. And I was like, do we get paid? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay, so no, I'm not going to be here. Sorry. And I think he was a little offended. But I'd never heard of Limp Bizkit yet. And I don't know. They certainly got quite a lot of people to show up the next day, though. That's for sure. And then I did the Lone Star video. That was great. That was fun. I love those guys.
And Sonny Mabrey, this is very fascinating because music led you to have the BPM in your rhythm inside you. For example, by bringing the character of El Cripo, because Vine, back in the last decade, was a very special social media and app in which you had to be very fast in less than 6 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And that is not my natural way. My mom used to talk about how slow I am and everything. You know, I just kind of move slowly. Not in the old, not in the old noggin, hopefully, but in fact, that's the opposite, ADD, nonstop brain. But with getting ready, like I was always the last one out the door. But so I had to really practice that because I love the 6-second amount of time that we had to make something funny. And just getting my joke out, I guess, having a beginning, middle, and an end in that amount of time took practice. But it was very satisfying, I think, that loop, too. We just don't have it anymore.
Sunny Mabrey, can you remind us of your most legendary characters? I mentioned El Cripo, but I assume that you created thousands more.
So many. Gosh, I think there was one called Lorraine. She was a mom who, she'd had it all the time. She was tired of making people sandwiches. She always had lipstick on her teeth. And there was a sort of an older lady, a Midwesterner, who, everything was too loud for her, and using a Bluetooth was unacceptable. She's just very sensitive to sounds. Gosh, there was a little guy named Owen. He barely spoke above a whisper, and he was just very awkward, painful little dude, and living in his own universe, I guess. They all had a little bit of something that, I just ended up repeating. I think that was just like the joke, whatever it was, even if it was the weirdest thing ever. There was a ballerina named Anastasia, and she wanted to be a ballerina so badly, but she never took any lessons or knew how to dance. It's just so tragic for her. And just, I don't know. They sound insane to me now, but I think the only way those can be done is the short form, because otherwise it's like, who is this person? You got to investigate much more thoroughly who they are. And you could write a story based on those people, but it wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be the same. And if I understood correctly, Sunny Mabrey, the character that you just mentioned of the mother called Laurence can be compared to Bonnie in Hillbilly Elegy.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe so. Yeah, I mean, she was a character, that's for sure. I played Glenn Close's character of Bonnie, Mamaw, in Hillbilly Elegy as a younger woman in her 30s, and it was wild. I mean, got to work with Ron Howard, which he was so great. I loved him. Just a normal guy. Very cool. And it was. She's a little more extra, even than some of my Vine characters, I would say. Bonnie was.
Sunny Mabrey, on one side, there is Vine with this very special concept that lasts, for example, 6 seconds. But on the extreme other part, there is feature films. And I would love to discuss about Snakes on the Plane that I watched yesterday to refresh my memory, in which you are portraying Tiffany, who is not afraid of traveling in the air.
No, she's not afraid. She's not afraid of She's not afraid of air travel. She's not afraid of snakes. Not really until this flight, maybe. After this, she might have a problem. But yeah, she's kind of a brash, extroverted type of chick, I'd say.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit more about one of your best memories on the set or related to the experiences? Because this is one of your favorite projects to that day.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so fun. It's funny because Snakes on a Plane was actually the working title. We got the scripts and it was humorous. Like, Snakes on a Plane, I don't know. I just got finished doing something kind of I thought was respectable film, and I wanted to keep that going. And it sounded silly to me at first. And then I was like, oh, okay, no, this is just what they're calling it, so people can identify it. They don't really have a name for it yet. And anyhow, I got to set and we started working on it, and somebody said it's a spoof. One of the other actors said that in front of a producer, and the producer was like, it's not a spoof. And we were like, oh, it's not? Wait. And he was like, no, it's not a spoof. So we were like, okay, there are some funny parts. It's definitely got comedy, but there are a lot of serious parts as well that are very, heart-wrenching. And I had to make a decision on how to play those parts. I think whenever you have something that's a little bit tongue-in-cheek and it knows what it is, it's got that, it's got both. Even if it's a little bit broad, I think you have to just dive right into the tragedy of it as well, and just be as present and real in that situation too, because you just have to. That's how life is, I guess, and it makes it pay off more if it's all very grounded and authentic. But anyway, so time went on, and Pacific Air 21 was decided to be the name of the movie. And by that time, we'd all fallen in love with the name Snakes on a Plane. And we were highly opposed to calling it Pacific Air 121. So we all voiced our opinion. And I think Samuel L. Jackson was the one who kind of pushed it over the edge for us and made it so that we could keep our name. And that was one of the first movies, I think, where they could really look at the internet and what people were saying. The fans of, we had people that were tuned into the movie far before it came out, and they were kind of giving their input. So that's one of the first films that people were able to do that, and that's one of the reasons they went and did some reshoots. They added some more crazy stuff, the classic line, I've had it with these MF snakes on the plane.
Absolutely.
That came after. That was like added. And they added a few more things to make it, I think, rated R, actually. They saw the demographic. Yeah.
This is very funny that you're bringing the fact of that very funny name, because that's completely right. You were just finishing two other very important releases, one called Species Chapter 3, and another one called XXX State of the Union, so both in 2004 and 5, and
Right.
Snakes on the Plane was coming a year after that, so I can totally understand how that name lusted you.
Yeah. The Triple X movie, I was one of the female leads on that, and I felt like, hey, I was just a female lead on a big studio film. I should probably choose wisely. And at first, I wasn't sure, but now I'm so grateful that I said yes to Snakes on a Plane.
Obviously, even 2 decades ago, the technology and special effect was already very advanced. But how did the production figure out to put all those snakes? How was the behind the scenes?
It was crazy because it was a combination of CGI snakes and real snakes and then rubber snakes. So there was a room that was for the snake wrangler that all of the snakes were in their little, compartments and drawers and bathtubs. And they were very organized about it. And I guess there's like a dupe snake to every snake that is poisonous. So even a coral snake and all those, there's another snake that has the exact same markings. I think I remember them saying that. So those are the ones that they used. And there was also a very large boa constrictor. They did a lot with CGI with that boa constrictor, but they actually had the real one as well. So we have a picture of the cast somewhere with all of us holding the boa constrictor. Like 20 people holding that thing. It was huge. Thankfully, I wasn't afraid of snakes. I mean, nobody on that set really was too freaked out about snakes. We even held them when we were doing our interviews, and they were crawling all over us. And when we were doing our EPK press stuff on set. But then after the movie, after I shot it, I had so many people that were like, I cannot watch that. I know I'm your cousin. It's just like people that were very close to me that were like, I'm sorry, I got to skip it. I'm just too freaked out, I didn't know there was this many people afraid of snakes.
Sunny Page Mabrey, I truly believe that the movie could have a very different storyline if Cedar was on board.
Oh, gosh.
Because he would have defend all of the crew with a lot of confidence.
Yeah. Cedar? My dog? Is that what
Absolutely.
Yeah. The plot would be very different for sure. There was a little dog in the movie. Do you remember the little Chihuahua in the movie?
Absolutely.
That dog unfortunately had an unfortunate fate. My friend Rachel Blanchard, who was also in the movie, that was, she played like a early 2000s Paris Hilton type, I guess you'd call it, and her little dog didn't quite make it. Fell to the boa constrictor as a sacrifice, I think. But Cedar would have been different. She probably couldn't have handled the boa constrictor either, but she probably wouldn't have. I don't know. All those other snakes might have had their work cut out for them with her. She's fascinated by anything that moves that's smaller than her. We think she wants to kill a lot of things, but we're just not sure. So we just keep the leash tight.
Absolutely. The key point to survive in this planet Earth is to be bigger than this dog. And I'm very curious about your current project, as you just mentioned, in the musical field, with, for example, a band and a couple more video clips, and also in every theaters. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah. Are you talking about our music that my husband and I play? Our band?
On everything that comes on the screen and outside the screens.
Oh, everything. Okay. Ethan and I have a band. It's called Wolf Candy. It's kind of our new name. We've been playing together for many years, and we used to have more of a full band, and I guess we do now, but they're kind of remote. And we don't all play together out as much as we used to, but we all record together still. And, we've been through many other names. So we've put out EPs and, taken them down and said, this is not, this is not how we want to be represented anymore. It was a really long time ago. And we've been sort of building up to the release of some new music that is hopefully, more of what we represent currently. And we should be putting some of that out this year. So I'm excited about that. And I've got a film coming out called A Unicorn for Christmas. And obviously that should be around Christmas time. And I've got something that I cannot mention. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say what that is because it's a kind of a secretive show. You just never know these days when you work on something. I try to find out when I'm on set, like, do you guys, are you okay? Because some of them really want you to talk about it, and then others are like, no way. Like if you make a hard copy of your script and it's got your name on it and you just throw it in the trash at Burger King, somebody's going to trace it back to you, and it's bad news for you. So, you got to keep these things under wraps. But there's another project that is in the can, as they say, and should be coming out really soon. And I've got a couple things lined up that I'm going to be working on as well. A movie coming up soon. Yeah.
Everything is in the can, and I'm sure that one of your titles and songs will include, as this is now the recipe for success, the word hungry.
Yeah, I mean, I might even have a song that already has the word hungry. I'm gonna have to search it now. Probably do.
Sunny Page Mabrey, thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward for the unicorn at Christmas.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. It was really fun.